All right, lovely. Thank you, sir. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to another installment of the Irish Night of Blue live stream concert series coming to you live on the interwebs this evening on Facebook and YouTube. We got some people joining already. I'm sure there'll be some more coming along in a little while. Maybe you're watching this tomorrow or next day. Kind of a little time travel job, but hope you're enjoying it either way. We're here tonight with the wonderful and fantabulous Mr. Chris Brinn from, is it Searsport or Searsmont?
Searsmont. We started out in the PORT and we ended up in the MONT. So we're in Searsmont now instead of Searsport. So.
Yep. To everybody else, that's just Mid-Coast Maine. All the same. What they call down east because it's up north. And I put that in the newsletter, and kind reader Sandy Davis was very, very kind enough to send me a big long explanation of why it's called down east. So maybe I'll post that next week.
Oh, it better, yeah, it better had, yeah. Isn't that, that's because it actually comes south and down east, doesn't it?
He says it. Well, I always thought it was because the peninsulas hang down east, like well, never mind, like what. But he says it's a sailing term, which sounds very right to me. That the prevailing winds on the coast of Maine are from the southwest, and when you're sailing up north towards that area from down here, you're sailing downwind.
Oh, fair enough.
That's why it's down east. I don't know.
There we go.
I'll start a debate. So if you're listening tonight and you have a comment about that, you can put it in the chat box and let us know what you think. Sandy Davis seems to think that down east comes from sailing downwind. I think that sounds like a perfectly reasonable explanation. If you have a better one, put it in the chat box and we'll talk about it at halftime. Chris is here all the way from Searsmont, like we said, right next to Belfast, Maine, where he has been in the past the host and the primary booker, and did most of the work for the Maine Celtic Celebration, a great festival that's been out there for many years now. He's been kind enough to book a lot of our Portland bands to go up there, and always been a good time. I've known Chris for got to be well over 20 years now.
Actually, it's probably about 20. We moved to the state in 2000, so it's probably about 20 years at this point, Tom. Yeah,
just about. So Chris used to come and show up randomly at the the old Brian Baru session, which was the hub back in the day. The only
just
thing
like every accordion player shows up randomly everywhere.
That's right. We had a few over the years. We were always really taken by his excellent tune playing, and once in a while he graces with a great song as well. So we're going to get plenty of that tonight for you folks. So buckle in and stay safe out there, and get ready for some tunes and songs from Ireland and from Cornwall. That's a place. We're going to talk
about
it.
Is a place. Yes, it is a place.
It's a real live place. People live there. It's not part of England, though it is almost attached, or pretty much attached. But he could tell you all about that later. So, without further ado, if you're ready, sir, take it away.
Yeah, no, I think what I'll do is I'll try the technology we were messing with earlier on. I'll flip the camera over to the accordion, just so you can see all my mistakes more clearly.
All right.
And I'm going to start with the tune. This is an Irish tune. And most people might know it out there, I suppose. Is "Cherish the Ladies," but I originally got into folk music back home. There's a big Cornish tradition of singing and playing, and one of my great friends, Brian Harris, was playing the accordion, and I got started on the accordion with him. Then I got into the Chieftains, and this was one of the first tunes that I ever tried to learn off of the Chieftains album. So hopefully it'll work, but
sure it will. Take it away, Chris.
Flip this over and we'll play "Cherish the Ladies." That one's down. There we go. Oh dear. I think Joe Burke said about that one, it was a jig so nice you played it twice or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And so I started out learning music back home in Cornwall, and in the pubs mostly, and the piano accordion has become kind of a mainstay down there in Padstow on the north coast. I'm going to guess at some point in time there were fiddles, but they've all been surpassed. I'm not entirely sure what you would say about that by the accordion in the latter part of the last century or so. Button boxes as well, but mostly DG. Melodeon style playing, but the piano accordion became very, very popular. For the last, so I would say, last 30 years or so of the last century. And my best friends have all got them and all play. My brother plays as well, and we started off playing in the pubs. I started my music started a lot earlier than that though. I was taught music in school, and this silly song I'm going to do is a song which my mother-in-law likes, actually. But it's a song about the farming community, and Cornwall's very much a farming, fishing kind of place. So this is a song which is about the farming community, and I actually learnt this one from a primary school head teacher who used to play guitar for us every so often in our assemblies. So we'll give this one a go and see how it comes out. It's kind of a silly song. It's a silly kid's song. When you're an accordion player, you can't take yourself too seriously. Way down on our farm, we are right up to date. For mechanisation's a byword of late. For every job there's a gadget to match. But our new muck spreader's the best of the batch. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Now young Walter Hodgkins, he brought back a load of liquid manure from the farm up the road. Oh, he hummed to himself as he drove up the street, and his load also hummed in the afternoon heat. Fling it here, fling it there. When you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Now this muck spreader had a mechanical fault, and a bump in the road turned it on with a jolt. An odorous spray of manure it let fly, without fear, without favour, on all who pass by. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Oh, the cats and the dogs stank to high kingdom come. Oh, no, I think I missed it. This muck spreader. Oh, no, I didn't. I said that one already. See? And the cats and the dogs stank to high kingdom come. And the kiddies browned off ran home screaming to mum. Oh, the trail of sheer havoc were terrible grim. Oh, one open car were filled up to the brim. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. In her garden, Miss Prideaux was quite scandalised. Good gracious, she cried out, I've been fertilised. What a Methodist minister's teetotal wife were plastered for the very first time in her life. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Ah, the vicarage windows were all open wide when a generous helping descended inside. Oh, the vicar at table intoned, let us pray, when his manna from heaven came flying his way. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. And all of this time Walter trundled along. He was quite unaware there were anything wrong. When into his view, oh, there came such a sight. A policeman all covered in you've got it right. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Fling it here, fling it there. If you're standing by, then you'll all get your share. Very silly. Oh dear. So, as I was saying, you know, the stuff that you learn as a kid kind of has a lasting effect on you, as you can all see. So, I'm going to play a tune which is actually part of a children's TV show years and years ago on British television, which was a about a haphazard pirate called Captain Pugwash. The tune is actually a hornpipe, and I know that they hold the hornpipe night at Blue at some point. And this is called the trumpet hornpipe. The trumpet hornpipe, and it's called the trumpet hornpipe because I believe they try to do these triplet kind of thingies. And I'll switch the camera back over here again while we're playing the tunes to try and imitate how the trumpet tonguing goes. So, trumpet hornpipe, otherwise known as Captain Pugwash. Oh dear, another silly thing. But good fun. You can find the episodes of Captain Pugwash on YouTube if you want to ever have a look. It's back simpler animation, so you'll probably like that. I'm going to do a song which is from a repertoire of one of my great mentors from Padstow, a fellow called Ray Delph, who used to play the accordion and sing, and kind of learnt this one up at the folk nights in Weybridge that we used to go to every so often, and the folk festivals around. Unfortunately, Ray died. It's going to be, I think it's about a year, almost a year ago. Unfortunately, from cancer. So that's a shame. I started feeling old because I keep losing mentors. So we're going to do this one for him. Oh, come all you bold heroes, giving ear to my song, and I'll sing in the praise of good brandy and rum. There's a clear crystal fountain near England doth flow. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. Oh, from France we do get brandy, from Jamaica comes a rum, sweet oranges and lemons from Portugal come. But beer and strong cider are in England's control. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. Oh, good ale, it is my comfort, my joy and delight. I sup it at morn and I soak it at night. Gives a health to the body and strength to the soul. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. Give me the punch ladle. I'll fathom the bowl. Ah, me wife, she do disturb me as I lie at my ease. She does as she wants and she says as she please. Ah, me wife, she's a devil, as black as a coal. Not really, it's just a song. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. Give me the punch ladle. I'll fathom the bowl. Oh, me father made to lie in the depths of the sea. No stone at his head, but what matter to he? There's a clear crystal fountain near England doth flow. Give me the punch ladle, I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. I'll fathom the bowl. Give me the punch ladle. I'll fathom the bowl. Oh dear. These songs are always better off when you're sitting in a pub with lots of people joining in. So if you're out there and you do have a drop of something in your hands, please do feel free to join in if you know it. I'm going to play a couple of reels, and these are from the Irish repertoire. My grandfather was originally from Dublin, Wicklow first, then Dublin, and so that's one of the other reasons why I got into playing Irish music. And one of the first tunes that I ever heard that I wanted to learn was probably the Mason's Apron, which I'm going to guess there's a majority of accordion players out there who've heard different versions by different accordion players over the years. Mick Foster and Dermot O'Brien and many others played the Mason's Apron, and of course the fiddlers, and John Sheehan and the Dubliners, and was fairly instrumental, I suppose, in the influence of the tunes that I wanted to learn. And John Sheehan's version of the Mason's Apron was always one of my favourites, along with Barney McKenna. So I'm going to do the Mason's Apron, which I did originally pick up from the Dubliners, and then I'm going to have a go at the Silver Spear, which I got from the band. Originally I heard it from the Cassidys, who were playing on an LP with Frank Patterson, who is a great Irish tenor. And it's a good album. It's got some great stuff on it. But the Silver Spear was one of their tunes, and the Mason's Apron. So I'm just going to put those together. the whole thing works out a lot better when people aren't watching. Oh, wrong one. No, that wasn't right. Hang on, hold on. Wrong. There's too much technology. Too much technology. Right. Okay, so we're going to do a song that I got from a fella called John Breeze. And it actually comes from and then Ray Dalford also pointed me in the right direction with this one. And give me this song, which is from about 1807. Cornwall was very famous for its, or it was very famous at one time for its tin mining and copper mines. And this is a song from about the early part of the 1800s about the Napoleonic, and it's called Tin and Copper Boys. And my brother, actually Kevin, plays this one a lot in the key of F. I haven't learned it in the key of F yet, so I'm going to do it in G. So if it gets a bit screechy, that's why. Oh, come all you jolly tinner lads and listen unto me. I'll tell yous of a story that'll make you for to see, concerning Bonaparte and the schemes that he had made to stop our tin and copper boys and all our pilchers' trade. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise. Hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their pretty eyes. Hurrah for our old gentry and may they never fail. Hurrah me boys for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. He summoned 40,000 men to Poland, they did go, all for to rob and plunder there, you very well do know. 10,000 there were killed and laid, or dead in blood and gore, and 20,000 run away, I can't say where I'm sure. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise. Hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their pretty eyes. Hurrah for our old gentry and may they never fail. Hurrah me boys for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. And should the Bonaparte 40,000 still to make into his army for to work his wicked will, and try to invade us, but if he don't quickly fly, and 40,000 Cornishmen will know the reason why. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise. Hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their pretty eyes. Hurrah for our old gentry and may they never fail. Hurrah me boys for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. Come all you jolly tinner lads and listen unto me. I'll tell yous of a story that'll make you for to see, concerning Bonaparte and the schemes that he had made to stop our tin and copper boys and all our pilchers' trade. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise. Hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their pretty eyes. Hurrah for our old gentry and may they never fail. Hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. Oh, hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise. Hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their pretty eyes. Hurrah for our old gentry and may they never fail. Hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. Yeah, 1807. That one is actually meant to be a version. There's another song called The Song of the Western Men or Trelawney, which is the Cornish national anthem, which I might do if we might get round to it. If we get round to it, I'll do it. If we don't, I won't. So, but that's another version, meant to be another version of that one. So I think I'll do a shanty. I've, of course, being from a fishing port, you end up learning a few shanties. And I was on the boats for a while doing in the fishing industry itself. This one could be found in Stan Hugel's great book, which is Shanties of the Seven Seas. Anybody out there who's into shanties, that's kind of a shanty Bible called Liverpool Duties. Liverpool Duties. from, and it's got the right key on. I was doing it in E earlier. No, that's not right. From Liverpool to Frisco, whereof and I went, but to stay in that country was my good intent. But drinking strong whiskey like other damn fools, I was very soon Shanghai back to Liverpool, singing roll. Oh, row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. I shipped in the Alaska, lying out in the bay. We was waiting for a fair wind to get underway. All the sailors on board, they was all sick and sore. Oh, they drunk all their whiskey and they couldn't get no more, singing roll. Row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. One night off Cape Horn I will never forget, and it's all but a sigh when I think of it yet. Oh, we was going bows under, all the sails was all wet. We was running 12 knots with the main skysail set, singing roll. Oh, row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. Then up jumps a mate in his jacket of blue. He's looking for work for them outlaws to do. And a up topsail halyards he loudly does call, and lay aloft the laddie, oh, you son of a whore, singing roll. Row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. And now we're sailing down under the line. When I think of it now, oh, we had a hard time. Those sailors bucks hauling the yards all around for to catch that flash clipper, the Thatcher, McGowan and Rowe. Oh, row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. And now we've arrived back in Bramley-Moor Dock, and all them flash duties to the pierhead do flock. Our barrows run dry, and me 6 quid advance, and I think it's high time for to get up and dancing and roll. Row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. Here's a health to our captain where'er he may be. He's a devil on land and a bucko at sea. Oh, but as for that first mate, the lousy old brutes, oh, we hope when he dies straight to hell is sky hoot singing roll. Oh, row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow. Oh, row, police, row, them Liverpool duties have got us in tow.
All right.
Oh, here he is. He's back.
I'm back. That was lovely. I was going to cut into one before that, but I'm glad I waited till post shanty.
Post Shanty, yeah. I learned that one as a band. There was a band in the UK years ago called the Spinners. They were from Liverpool, and it was very funny because everybody referred to the American Spinners as the Detroit Spinners, and then there was the Spinners who were a folk band. So, and they did that one on a record that I had as a kid as well, which I've still got the records actually. It's a good bit of fun.
Nice, so. Great song. All great songs so far. Thanks so much, man, for coming. This has been highly enjoyable.
I hope you're laughing there. I can't see your face. You're probably smiling a bit.
I'm absolutely smiling. But yeah, great tunes, great songs. It's great to catch up with you a little bit as well. And got some folks watching. They're being a little subdued in the chat so far, so I don't have anything interesting to share with you. But
it doesn't matter. You know, I'm sure. You know, Randy Billings at one point had said that he was going to heckle me. I wouldn't put it past him, but, you know, he got his bass back today, so he's a bit busy, I expect.
Well, we'll see. All the Xanax will start kicking in by the second half, so people will start chatting, texting weird stuff. We're all going to need some of that anyway, coming up for the next few weeks anyway.
Oh.
Maybe years. Chris already covered the whole political gambit and the incredible train wreck that was the presidential debate last night.
Don't know that there's enough Xanax in the world, is there?
Yeah, I've been trying to be really careful and keep to very minimal drinking during the pandemic because I think it could probably catch up and get away from me. And so I thought I'd stick to my usual plan and try and make a point of it. And now, after last night, I'm pretty sure that's totally out out of the question at this point. I'm going to recommit. I'm going to come in hard, and I'm going to come in strong, and that's how we're all going to make it together, by drinking alone in our houses.
It's kind of crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. Just really kind of nuts. But
Well, at
what are
least
you going to do? There we go. One of
at
those
least we have
things.
tunes. And,
Yeah, just have a few tunes, have a few songs.
some Zooms with friends and some backyard hangouts. That's all good stuff. Cool. So, Chris Brinn, all the way here from Searsmont, Maine, and we've already talked a little bit about the past and Cornwall, even one of the 7 Celtic nations. Is there a
It's
Cornish
a lovely
language?
place. It really is. If you haven't had a chance to get there, you should. It's it's an absolutely. I shouldn't say things like this, I suppose, really, but
You are
there was a
streaming live.
TV show. There was a TV show years ago called Absolutely Fabulous, and there was a comedian called Joe Brand, and she was very, very funny. But she was on this TV show, and at one point she plays a journalist who's over in Spain, and they ask her, how'd you like it? And she turns around and she says, "It's a lovely bit of coastline sport by patronising English gits." And we sometimes feel like that about Cornwall. It's a lovely bit of coastline sport by English gits. I shouldn't say things like that. It is beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. So if you ever get a chance, you should definitely go.
I always kind of think of it as a little like Wales, but less stuck up.
Well,
close.
it's the
But I
Welsh
think-
are lucky because at least the Welsh have got their language. They're able to turn around and not actually speak in English if they don't want
That's
to.
true. That is a
Our,
perk.
our language is it's having a resurgence. There are people who were learning it, and unfortunately, one of the true downfalls of leaving the EU is that there was an awful lot of money which was coming in to promote cultural studies. So Cornwall was going to actually benefit an awful lot from being a member of the European Union, and the Cornish were considered a cultural minority by the European Union, and we're going to get all kinds of money to
Wow.
promote our language and promote the music and dancing and all
Wow.
of that kind of stuff. And of course, it's all going to go because they don't want to be part of the European Union anymore.
That's ironic.
Oh, it is. It's completely
I would say,
ironic. Yeah.
what a great time to leave the sinking ship that is the U.S. and go back home and get paid for playing music.
Well, it would be if we were going to be part of Europe.
Oh well, you missed that boat.
Yeah, it's all right. Now, I planted my flag a long time ago in the US, and the US has always been very, very present company accepted. I suppose at this point is what you would say, but the US has been wonderful to me, and so my wife's American, Carol, and she's beautiful, and I love her very much indeed, and I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world. So we'll get through it. That's the only thing I can say is it's like the doctor says to the kidney stone patient, "This too shall pass."
Well, we're glad you wound up here, and especially up in Maine with us weirdos, and having a good time playing tunes. So, Chris is here playing for your generous donations this evening. I put the the link to his PayPal account into the chat box in both places, YouTube and Facebook. If you could take a minute to go there, give him some money. That is the best way to say thank you to a musician of any kind, any place, anywhere. Be generous and let them know it. Let them know you appreciate the music. If you have a little bit of extra to spare after that, a little bit, I'll post the link for Blue. This is a online extension of live shows that we did every week in a little place in Portland, Maine called Blue, which is a fantastic little nightclub. Let us do Irish Night there from the very beginning when there's 5 people that would show up every week. And it's been going on. It'll be 15 years coming up in 2021, in early 2021. And it's a lot of live shows. So we're grateful, and we really want to be back in there doing it in person again. And I want to be back there and seeing my friends and playing some tunes myself. And hopefully everybody dropping by every once in a while like they always used to and keep me happy. and occupied. So we're looking for that day. If you have a little bit extra and you can help out Blue too, that's great. They could use the help right now. If you came to watch and you're not in a good place and you can't afford anything, that's fine too. We're happy to have you here. Thanks for coming and listening. And remember, we're going to do this every week until mid-December. We got a bunch of great shows lined up, some luminaries of the tradition, and also some normal folk like Chris here. I was right there. I don't know. I was going to take a pass, but Chris is an excellent musician who is overlooked on the national stage. It's not true, really. You've kind of been around.
No, it's not. It's
I'm trying to back out of it.
You don't. Yes, it. Nobody ever really. It's kind of. I don't.
Cheers.
Cheers. There was a great quote from I can't remember if it was Ali Bain or if it might have been one of the Begley brothers, maybe Seamus or Brendan, who said, this wasn't something that we wanted to get into as careers. This was just something we did after we came in off the field, or I think in Ali's case he was a pipe fitter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same for me. It's just something we did after we came in off the boats. We came in after being on the sea and fishing. And reach for the instruments and go into the pubs and have a couple of jars with your mates and a few songs, and that's really how I learned to play growing up. It's not.
Yeah.
No. Just wanted to.
That's how I thought of it as well. It's nice. There's a lot of people now, even just in Portland, making a living, at least part of their living, playing and getting around and doing gigs, and music's more popular than ever. And up until the pandemic, the gigs were getting better and better, and it's great that it's its own little industry now. The music coming out is as good, if not better, than ever. Just great new stuff all the time, and
the standard is just way and beyond anything that I'm capable of. And I know
the feeling.
I got a lot of friends who are down there playing, and I just feel terribly for them at the moment because what with the pandemic, the gigs have dried up, and it's just rotten.
Yep. Now, it's hard for a lot of musicians, a lot of venues, so everybody, all you can do is give what you can. If you find an online concert you like, or a musician who's doing lessons or something like that, take a few lessons, go to a concert, give a few bucks. If you have a favorite venue, throw them a few bucks once in a while, or go pick up their curbside meal service or something like that. We're trying to do a little bit of that on our own. If you're a rich person, then hey, give a lot and give it often. Give all the time. What else are you gonna get? When you gonna take it with you when you die? You might as well spend it now. That was a good time to spend it. But if you're like the rest of us, spend what you can here and there. And
isn't that what they say about voting? Is vote now and vote often?
That's right. I'm hoping all my friends vote many times in this coming election. And
stop it! Don't say things like
that. If I had the option, I would, but I'm not that clever. Plus, I get caught whenever I try and do anything. So. And as I always say, everybody, be nice to each other out there. That's how we'll get through this. We got plenty more music to come from Chris Brinn, and we've chatted and goofed around long enough. So take it away, Chris. Give us some more tunes. I'll be back later.
This is a very old song from Cornwall. And I am going to dedicate this to my wife, Carol. I don't think she's watching because I told everybody in the house to get off the bandwidth so I could stream properly. So, my sweetheart, come along. Don't you hear the fine song? The sweet notes of the nightingale flow. Don't you hear the fine tale of a sweet nightingale as she sings in the valley below? As she sings in the valley below. Pretty Betsy, don't fail, for I'll carry your pail, and along to your cottage I will go, for to hear the fine tale of a sweet nightingale as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below. Pray let me alone, I have hands of my own, and away with you, sir, I'll not go. For to hear the fine tale of a sweet nightingale, as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below. Pray sit yourself down here with me on the ground, on the bank where the primroses grow. You shall hear the fine tale of a sweet nightingale, as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below. Oh, the couple agreed to be married with speed, and away to the church they did go. Now no more she's afraid for to walk in the shade, or to lie in the valley below. Or lie in the valley below. Oh, you shall hear the fine tale of a sweet nightingale, as she sings in the valley below. As she sings in the valley below. I wish I knew it in Cornish. And Eos Murthwake, I think is the Cornish translation, but I wish I knew the rest of the words. I'm going to do a bit of a comic song. Very good. Another mentor of mine I lost a couple of years ago. He's a bit older. He was in his 80s when he passed, unfortunately. But Trevor Sharp, up from Bradford in North Yorkshire, started coming down to Padstow to Cornwall to Mayday in about 1975. And I grew up playing in the band Mayday in Padstow. And I've only missed 3 actually, if we include pandemic year. I missed a couple, once from not being able to go back, and 2 from not being able to go back, and 3 from a pandemic. So May the 1st happens every year down in Padstow, and it's a big tradition for us. But Trevor used to come down from Bradford with his wife Maureen, and great folks, and was one of the people who's, again, instrumental in getting me into folk music. So I'm going to sing one of his songs, or a song that I got from him. I'm actually not sure of the person who wrote this, but it's a bit of a comic song about the evils of drink. Excuse me. Oh, let's see if I can get it right. Hang on. Well, as I stood on the village green to hear what the preacher said, he said, "You better stop drinking beer, you very soon all be dead. For he says that beer is poison, that it is the devil's brew. You carry on drinking that poison beer, it'll be the end of you. Oh, fancy them calling it poison, And nasty names like poison beer, with them I can't agree. For I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. And no, it never did poison me. Oh, I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. Well, me wife, she listened to what she said. Me wife, she listened to what he said. She turned and she said to me, there's no more beer for you, me lad, stay out of the chestnut tree. For he says the beer is poison, that it is the devil's brew. I don't want to be a widow yet and have to bury you. Oh, and fancy them calling it poison. And nasty names like poison beer, with them I can't agree. For I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. Oh, it never did poison me. No, I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. Oh, I asked me neighbour what he thought. He said, would you like to know? He says that beer of poison. He says if beer is poison, then it must be awfully slow. For he says that beer is poison. Let's try that again. I asked me neighbour what he thought. He said, would you like to know? He said if beer is poison, then it must be awfully slow. Oh, just look at my old father. Oh, just between you and me. Oh, he drank his beer for many a year, and he died at 93. Oh, fancy them calling it poison, and nasty names like poison beer. With them I can't agree. No, 'cause I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. Oh, it never did poison me. Oh, I've drunk barrels and barrels of beer, and it never did poison me. Oh dear. Well, here's another song about love, I suppose. Well, sort of. I actually was listening to, I was going through the words of this song a while back, and I actually came up with a bit of analogy. It seems to be akin to the Pina Colada song, if anybody's familiar with that out there. This is kind of a Cornish version from years and years ago. About an incident where a fella ends up trying to get himself into a tryst and ends up running into his wife instead. Oh, this song I'll sing to you, 'tis about a maiden fair I met the other evening at a corner of the square. She'd a dark and a roving eye, and her face was covered over, and I asked her would she ride with I away down to Lamorna. 'Twas down in Albert Square, I never shall forget. Oh, their eyes, they shone like diamonds, and evening it was a wet, 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 and her hair hung down in curls. Oh, she was a charming rover, and we rode all night in the pale moonlight, away down to Lamorna. As we stepped in the cab, oh, I asked her for her name, and when she gave it to me, hers and mine, it was the same. So I lifted up her veil, for her face was covered over. To my surprise, it was my wife I took down to Lamorna. 'Twas down in Albert Square, I never shall forget. Oh, her eyes, they shone like diamonds, and the evening it was wet, 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 and her hair hung down in curls. She was a charming rover, and we rode all night in the pale moonlight, away down to Lamorna. She says, I knowed you well, I knowed you all the time. Oh, I knowed you in the dark, and I did it for a lark. And for that lark you'll pay, for the taking of your Donna. You'll pay the fare, I do declare, away down to Lamorna. 'Twas down in Albert Square, I never shall forget. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds on the evening. It was a wet, 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 and her hair hung down in curls. She was a charming rover, and we rode all night in the pale moonlight, away down to Lamorna. 'Twas down in Albert Square, oh, I never shall forget. Her eyes, they shone like diamonds on the evening. It was wet, 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 and her hair hung down in curls. She was a charming rover, and we rode all night in the pale moonlight, away down to Lamorna. Lamorna is down on the Lizard, I think, as I remember, down on the Lizard Peninsula, the south coast of Cornwall. Yeah, it's like the Pina Colada song, you know. Puts a personal lad and then discovers he's gone out with his missus. There's another song which is another funny song that I've got a kind of a penchant for silly songs and parodies, and over years in Cornwall, and I suspect this probably the same is true in Maine. You know, everything gets kind of homogenised due to the tourist industry, and especially down in parts of the, and it actually happens all over the UK, is where pubs that used to have a bit of character have been turned into some sort of wine bar, or they've been turned into something which you really don't want to go in. And this is kind of a silly little song which is about that. Oh, early one evening, just as the pubs were opening, a traveller came walking down a cold and rainy street. He saw the door ajar, entered the public bar. Landlord, I would like a drink and something nice to eat. I fancy some crusty bread and roast beef of old England, butter from the churn and tangy homemade pickles too. And if you think you could draw some bitter from the wood, I'd be quite content to quaff a foaming pint or two. I'll sit down beside your fire and contemplate infinity. The quiet of your hostelry shall creep into my heart. And should a regular chance to come into the bar, maybe I'll engage him in a contest with the darts. Sit down, said the landlord, I've got pre-packed fish paste sandwiches and soya sausage substitute I purchased by the ton. And if you fancy it, I might defrost a bit and plaster it with ketchup on a supermarket bun. I'll sling you a plastic pot of super sparkle ready brew, as advertised on telly by a famous rugby scrum. No filthy barrels here, we serve hygienic beer, safely paralysed inside this aluminium drum. That's aluminium, not aluminum. Sit down by the fire, squire, I'll switch the logs on right away. Or maybe you would like to play my latest fruit machine. 3 cherries in a row, that would set your hearts aglow. And how about my jukebox, that would really set the scene. Over traveller sat down beside the polystyrene ingle nook, the plastic beams vibrating to the electronic sound. He took a bite, began to chew, sank his pint of ready brew, gave a ghastly gurgle and fell dead upon the ground. Oh dear, said the landlord, as he switched his coloured tally on. Another fatal accident, the third this week, I fear. If they can hold their own, Why don't they just stay at home? My God, we don't have got some funny customers in here.
Oh. Very nice, man.
Time for one more, or are we all out?
I was going to suggest that. What
One
do you
more?
guys think? You want to hear one more? You can imagine the emojis clapping for you right now.
Oh my goodness.
One more for
Oh,
Mr. Crispin. Crispin, take it away.
All right, so the last one I'm going to do is a song which actually has some connections to the US. It is a Cornish song, but it's a Cornish song which came back to Cornwall. It was originally you found Charles H. Schieffer, and in 1885, and Buford Abner group in the late 1940s who sang this one, and they actually brought it, Michigan miners. There's a strong connection between Cornwall and the UP in Michigan. And I did not know this until we had a tenant a few years ago who was called Jeremy. And if he's watching or paying attention, then Jeremy Sergey, there we are. But he lives in the UP now. He's gone back out there. And there's a big mining community. And I made pasties. And pasties are kind of a pastry which has got meat and potatoes and turnips and onions in it. And you bake it in the oven. And they're really, really good. And it's kind of a hand pie, I suppose you might call it. But I did not know that these were also very popular in the UP in Michigan. And there was a big Cornish diaspora when the mining was going down the tubes, and everybody came to the US and went to the UP and did ore mining instead. So this is a song that started off in America and came back to Cornwall and is very popular in Cornwall. And it's called Little Eyes. I had a dream the other night. Oh, the funniest dream of all. I dreamt that I was kissing you behind a garden wall. And she said, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Oh, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you best of all. Come tell me, honey, tell me too, who is the one you love? Oh, tell me, honey, tell me too, who is your turtle dove? And she said, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Oh, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you best of all. Oh, kiss me, honey, kiss me too. You are my turtle dove. Oh, kiss me, honey, kiss me too. You are the one I love. And she said, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you best of all. I took my honey home last night beneath the spreading pine. I placed my arms around her waist. This is pre-COVID. And pressed her lips to mine. And she said, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Oh, little eyes, I love you. Little eyes, I love you. I love you best of all. Oh, it was not you that I did see behind the garden wall. Oh, it was my wife looking at me Oh, she was so big and tall, and she said, "A little eyes, I love you. A little eyes, I love you. I love you in the springtime and the fall. Oh, little eyes, I love you. A little eyes, I love you. I love you best of all."
Woo! Excellent. It's like I'm right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, thanks
The
so
jokes
much.
are a bit flat though when there's nobody laughing.
It's hard.
Mind you, I'm normally the only person laughing anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, it's hard enough with tunes, but especially singing songs and especially funny songs, you know, to just have the silence at the end, that's got to be rough.
Yeah, crickets. Just
This is the new
insert a
normal.
cricket soundtrack.
This is what we have for now. We'll all be back in the room laughing with you one day soon. We hope, anyway. But that was a great night of music, and I really appreciate you joining us and sharing it with us.
Yeah, cheers, Tom. That was a lot of fun.
I put the donation link back in the comments again at the end there, folks. Please be nice and go help Chris out during these struggling times. And maybe help out Blue, too, if you get a chance. And we'll see you again. Next week we have a singer from Ireland named Claire Horgan, who I know very little about because I thought it was another person who's at the last name Horgan when I booked her. But I believe she was recommended through Tony DeMarco, maybe. And I'm doesn't have a lot of promo, but I'm looking forward to finding out. She's going to do a lot of Sean Noce Irish singing. Should be a nice singing show. We're having a little run, I guess, and then we got a little run of pipers coming up. So I'm excited.
Should sound a lot better than this pot goat, anyway.
I think you sounded wonderful, my friend, as always. I listen to you sing all day long. Chris also plays with Maine's finest pub band, the Napper Tandies.
Oh, shout out to Randy and Matt if they're around.
Randy and Matt, hello. We didn't mention them before. I wanted to make sure I said their name out loud because if you want to get a good Irish sing-along pub band for any occasion or for your bar in the future when we can have bars again, go no further. One-stop shopping with the Napper Tandies.
We'd all like to be back out playing, every single one of us. So.
All right. All the best, man. Thank you again for joining us. Thanks, everybody out there, for tuning in. It's good to see some of you in the chat. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. Everybody, be nice to each other out there. That's how we'll get through this. Everybody take care of each other, and we'll all get through it just fine. Otherwise, I will see you next time.